And it's a part of what Dan said, right? He doesn't have the cannon arm. He's not a 4-5 guy. He doesn't have this big stature in the pocket. And so it's going to be, what things do I not have, or does he not have, that I can't teach? And I believe as teams went through that evaluation, this is where they fell on Shedeur Sanders. And here's what happens, right? The season ends, and Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are battling for 1-2 when we're talking about the best quarterback.
What if everything you thought you knew about Shedeur Sanders was just the intro act? Ryan Clark just lit the match and dropped a truth bomb that's shaking the whole QB1 conversation like an earthquake. Forget the shiny clips and the viral rocket throws you've been replaying on your feed. This isn't about hype reels. This is about what actually separates Shedeur from the rest of the pack. And trust me, it's not what scouts scribbling notes on the sideline are even noticing. Is he just Deion's son surfing a tidal wave of hype, or is there something real beneath all that glitter? The noise just got blasted by the truth, and it's loud enough to drown out every hot take on ESPN. So here's the scandal. Ryan Clark just pulled off the biggest taboo in sports media. He actually told the truth, not the soft, polished, PR-friendly, he's got potential truth. No, he walked straight into the hype machine, looked it dead in the eyes, and basically said, "Step aside, because we're about to separate facts from fairy tales." That's sports heresy in this era.
Will do anything not to play Shedeur. Everyone knows the story by now with the draft. The Browns never wanted Sanders, and now it seems like they're trying to sabotage his career. Let me explain. First, they just released their unofficial QB depth chart, and where do you think they have Sanders listed? Yup, that's right, last. And if you're thinking it must be based on performance so far in camp, you'd be wrong, because here are the stats from all 4 QBs so far this training camp. Sanders has not only not been the worst, he's been the best.
Because here's the deal. When it comes to Shedeur Sanders, the room splits fast. Some folks swear he's just smoke and mirrors, all flash with no real foundation. Others swear he's the next quarterback phenom, the one who throws bullets by day and cashes NIL checks like a rock star by night. And right when the chatter is at its loudest, Ryan Clark steps in and dares to throw logic into the chaos. That's when you see just how addicted the football world is to narratives dripping with celebrity DNA, TikTok flair, and more wrist candy than an entire high school prom court. Ryan wasn't chasing the glitter or the flex. He skipped right past the custom Maybachs, iced out Rolexes, and Instagram drip, and went straight for the jugular. What really makes a quarterback worthy of QB1? Cue the dramatic silence and awkward faces from people realizing they've been binging TikToks instead of watching actual game tape. Let's rewind. Shedeur Sanders didn't just fall out of the clouds rocking Louis Vuitton cleats and an ego. He carved out this spotlight, or depending who you ask, maybe he was born into it with a platinum spoon. Either way, the resume's real. First, he torched Jackson State like the scoreboard owed him money. Then he hit Colorado, and the whole circus pulled up behind him. Dad coached Deion, cameras everywhere, team overhauls, merch drops, sideline drama. Oh, and let's not forget actual football. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Shedeur isn't famous because of Deion. He's under the microscope because of Deion. Big difference. Nepotism folds quick. One good blitz and it's game over.
And we expect him to go first round. He expects himself to go first round. Then it becomes a huge disappointment. What it said about this year is, if you ain't our guy, we ain't reaching for you at the quarterback position. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been through it with Kenny Pickett, decided they weren't going to go through it twice. And I do believe that Aaron Rodgers looming over that entire thing had something to do with that.
But this kid, he stood tall in collapsing pockets and fired darts that had NFL scouts rethinking their vacation plans. The haters only saw the shades, the wrist flicks, the pretty boy image. What they didn't see were the chess moves, the pre-snap reads, the clutch drives with the game on the line, the calm under fire when defenses tried to bury him. And while everybody else was busy getting camera ready on media day, Shedeur was rewriting the definition of toughness. Ryan Clark didn't need a hype reel to get it. He saw the raw leadership, the boring traits that don't go viral but win games. The way Shedeur takes hits like the turf is charging him rent. The way he attacks film like it personally insulted him. The way he treats third downs like someone dared him to lose. And he refuses every single time. That's exactly why Ryan Clark had to step in and speak up. It wasn't hype, it wasn't PR spin, it was the raw, undeniable truth. Shedeur Sanders isn't out here acting like QB1. He is QB1, and he just so happens to do it while rocking chains and looking like a walking billboard. Now let's peel back the swagger and talk about the substance that people keep ignoring. Underneath, the designer hoodie beats a football brain processing plays faster than Twitter trolls can type overrated. Shedeur's pocket presence, surgical, the type of stillness that makes you think of Tom Brady if Brady had a fresh fade and way better dance moves. When the pocket crashes down on most quarterbacks, they panic, they scramble, they fold. Shedeur, he calculates. He's not just playing football, he's running a live dissection, flipping defenses inside out in real time. You can almost see the algebra equations floating above his head as he scans the field. But sure, keep pretending he's just another influencer in pads. And then there's the stats.
Prime has, and we all know him. But now Shedeur has to be that man and maybe, step out a little bit, come from underneath the wing and become the man, because this is a performance-based league. If Shedeur goes out there and balls out, he's going to be a starter on the team, and I would bet that he's going to be a starter on the team. Maybe not to start the season, but for the end of the 2025 season, Shedeur is going to be leading the team this season.
Oh, the receipts are screaming. Completion percentage so clean it shines brighter than Sunday morning church bells. Touchdowns stacked like a money counter. Interceptions cut down to bare minimum. It's like he skipped the awkward rookie mistakes chapter and jumped straight into future franchise cornerstone. But no, that doesn't fit the lazy narrative, does it? The critics want him boxed in as just a kid with connections and drip, while the real story is a quarterback rewriting the playbook in real time. Here's what really shakes people to their core. Shedeur's got swagger and substance, and that combo breaks brains. Folks are wired to see one or the other. You're either the silent assassin who keeps it low-key, or the loud flameout who fizzles quick. But what happens when the dude who moves like a superstar also preps like a machine? The media short circuits, fans don't know whether to cheer, boo, or slide into his DMs asking for skincare secrets. And then there's the locker room. That's where myths either get exposed or built into legends. Ryan Clark wasn't talking about Shedeur's sunglasses or his camera presence. He was pointing straight at the off-camera grind. Shedeur's not ducking practice to chase clout or sneaking off for press junkets. He's the one staying late, grilling teammates for slacking and clowning you for missing a route, all while rocking shades indoors like it's nothing. Even the coaches admit it.
The noise around Shedeur around the draft, whether it's fair or unfair, it's ancient history. And if I was the GM of the Browns, I would look him and Dillon Gabriel in the eye and say, hey, your job is to make my job easy, which is to say at the end of the 2025 season, we have a quarterback. We have 2 first-round picks, and we don't need a quarterback. And go earn it each and every day. And if I'm the Browns, I play the best player, and there's no reason it can't be one of those rookies, and in my opinion, to be.
This kid doesn't just handle pressure, he thrives in it. Think about it. Colorado last season had more chaos than a reality show reunion special, but through it all, Shedeur was the calmest guy in the building. While the whole program spun like a circus, he stood still in the center, unfazed. And that's what Ryan Clark spotted, something rare in today's game. A quarterback who doesn't ask for the crown, he takes it, and not with arrogance, but with relentless reps, with discipline, with consistency. Here's the gag. Shedeur doesn't beg for respect. He demands it, not with empty talk, but with receipts, with every hit absorbed, every read mastered, every game where doubters thought he'd fold, and he answered with fire. He's too busy writing his own saga to let critics narrate it for him. Now let's hit the next chapter, the NFL reality check. Because while college is cute, draft boards don't care about IG likes or follower counts. NFL scouts don't care about hype clips. They want to know if you can rifle a 20-yard out with a 300-pound beast charging at you and 3 seconds left on the clock. And guess what? Shedeur already has that on his resume. What separates him isn't just arm talent, it's the brain power behind the throw. He's got that rare quarterback gene, the gift to read defenses before the snap, adjust mid-play, and punish slip-ups like an IRS agent during audit season. He's not just playing quarterback, he's solving quarterback. It's like watching someone twist up a Rubik's Cube built out of linebackers and safeties and actually crack it before the defense even blinks. Yet somehow, the chatter always drifts back to the distractions. Let's be real. If a white quarterback from some Southern powerhouse had Shedeur's stats, toughness, and leadership, they'd already have the Heisman locked up.
Stuff is done. Think about it. Understand, this is crazy. If you was a person who thought Shedeur Sanders was going to start and play, and you wanted him to start and play, and you wanted him to be a number 2 overall pick, if he was the number 2 overall pick, he probably would be starting, guess what? What game? The first preseason game. He's a 5th.
ESPN documentaries in production and confetti parades scheduled. But here's the thing, Shedeur dares to be different. He dares to be confident, flashy, and flat out excellent at the same time. And that's why Ryan Clark had to step in, because the sports world is short-circuiting. They don't know what to do with a quarterback who shatters every stereotype while beating their favorite teams into the ground. And we haven't even tapped into his most dangerous weapon, his mind. Forget the arm strength, forget the mobility. His real advantage is between the ears. His emotional intelligence is elite. He doesn't crack under pressure, doesn't waste time clapping back at trolls, and refuses to fold even when the spotlight turns nuclear hot. In today's game, quarterbacks crumble over a couple of mean tweets. But Shedeur, he's been under the national microscope since high school, and he carries it like a seasoned vet. Crazy thing is, he's only 21. The real flex? He makes the storm look effortless, like he was built for the chaos. And maybe he was, because when you grow up with a father like Dillon, pressure isn't optional, it's oxygen. Expectations weren't just part of the deal, they were the family tradition. And instead of whining about the weight, Shedeur turned it into a weapon. He didn't just survive the pressure, he sharpened it and used it to slice through every doubt thrown his way. That's why we're standing knee-deep in the QB1 jungle now. The grass thick, the chatter louder than a barbershop on Super Bowl Sunday, and every scout convinced their spreadsheet holds the ultimate truth.
I like the conversations around Shedeur Sanders have absolutely gotten to a point to where it's just laughable, right? When the owner comes out and basically says, shoot, I ain't want him. Andrew Berry had to draft him.
You were
right?
not going to draft him in.
Yeah, you're like, I think it's now it's
Code
like,
red.
Yeah, like, okay, so we've gotten to this point to where we're saying, as an owner, we didn't even really want him on the team, and now you're going to ask Kevin Stefanski to push him to the front of the line so you can see what you have in him, because we all believe that he has starter.
But when Ryan Clark stepped in and cut through all that noise with logic instead of vibes or vendettas, suddenly the whole debate felt different. Now, stack Shedeur against the competition. You've got the usual suspects. The rocket arms, the robotic mechanics, the cookie-cutter interviews that sound like ChatGPT dosed up on melatonin. Safe, predictable, boring. And then you've got Shedeur, calculated, creative, a quarterback who mixes artistry with precision, delivering plays sharper than a tax auditor tearing through bonus season. He doesn't just check boxes, he breaks the mold and makes you rethink what a franchise quarterback is supposed to look like. While other quarterbacks are still locked on their first read, Shedeur is 3 steps ahead, already clocking the weak side blitz, spotting the coverage rotation, and even noticing the poor defender who blew his assignment because he got distracted by Shedeur's jewelry sparkling under the lights. That's the difference. Shedeur doesn't just tick the boxes, he adds extras. Calm under pressure, leadership with bite, and that rare ability to turn broken plays into ESPN highlights without putting himself on the injury report. And yet, here we are with the tug of war, old school scouts versus new age believers. One side still clings to their clipboards like holy scripture, measuring quarterbacks as if it's still 1995 and under center footwork is the ultimate truth. The other side sees the future.
Is expected to start Cleveland's preseason opener against the Panthers. How about that? First reported by Mary Kay Cabot, and that was confirmed by Shefty. And he's been dealing with some shoulder soreness as well. Shrakes, what do you think about this?
I perked up. This is the Shedeur effect. I perked up. I didn't anticipate this, and now it's okay.
QBs who can torch defenses for 400-plus yards while building brands, stacking NIL checks, and owning the spotlight. But let's be clear. For Shedeur, NIL deals and headlines are just the side hustle. His real flex, reading defenses like he's scrolling through Marvel spoilers online. He slices through the fluff, unfazed by the noise, watches, or tabloid chatter. He's obsessed with tape, with growth, with adjustments, with poise. That's why Ryan Clark said what he said, not because QB1 sounds catchy, but because Shedeur plays the role like a grown man who's already sat down with a defensive coordinator, read his entire game plan, and ruined his evening before kickoff. This is a quarterback who's been juggling cameras, critics, and chaos since he was doing long division homework.
What are your expectations for Sanders when he goes out there and gets this start?
What's interesting, Chris, is that we've seen this movie before. If you go back to Sanders' history, right, you go back to his first game in college at Jackson State against Florida A&M, who was ranked at the time, did great in that ball game. You go to his first game at Colorado against a ranked TCU team that everybody expected to beat the doors off Colorado. I'm expecting Shedeur to realize the gravity of this moment and to play really well because, one, he has to, because that gives credence to everyone else saying, well, see, this is why you win the field.
Blocking out noise isn't a skill he learned in college. It's been part of his DNA from day one. And that's why he doesn't just survive the spotlight, he owns it. At this point, it's muscle memory, emotional intelligence. He's got it. Self-awareness off the charts. Ryan Clark sees it, and he knows just how rare that combination is in a young quarterback. Now zoom out. This isn't just about Shedeur, it's about the bigger picture. The constant uphill battle black quarterbacks have faced just to prove they belong in the conversation. Think about it. Lamar Jackson was told to change positions before he even stepped on an NFL field. Jalen Hurts had to turn himself into a cyborg of discipline and production before people gave him his respect. And now here comes Shedeur, polished, poised, but still being forced to answer questions that his white counterparts never even get asked. Leadership from black QBs is dissected under a microscope. Too confident means arrogant. Too calm means disengaged. Too flashy means unfocused. They can't win in the court of perception unless they flip the script. And that's exactly what Shedeur is doing, rewriting the narrative in real time. He's all of it. Bold, strategic, marketable, and deadly accurate. Is he QB1? The answer's been on display every Saturday. Just look at the stats, the growth, the way he makes everyone around him better, and he's not doing it with empty hype or locker room speeches. He's proving it on the field, snap after snap. He doesn't need to beg for the crown. He's earning it piece by piece, drive by drive. He's built for what's next. So what's the verdict? Laser arm? Check. Elite football IQ? Check. Leadership that commands a locker room like he's hosting an award show? Check. Absurd poise under fire and mechanics sharp enough for Sundays? Check.
Important, it does come with context. Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel both dealing with hamstring issues. They're not putting Joe Flacco in there, who is their projected week 1 starter. So they are down to basically saying like, all right, Shedeur, here's your shot. And this is exactly what you need. I mean, anytime you talk about a 5th round pick, forget about the name attached to him. He's going to have to look for these situations where maybe a couple guys are down right now and he has his chance to step up. And then if he does well, there's no looking back. That being said, he is getting this first chance.
But hey, let's keep pretending he's more style than substance, right? Ryan Clark didn't reveal some shocking secret. He just said out loud what anyone truly watching already knew. Shedeur isn't on his way to becoming QB1. He's been QB1. The rest of the world is just stumbling behind, slow, awkward, and backpedaling harder than a rookie cornerback getting torched deep. The truth Ryan dropped wasn't only about football. It was about perception. about how this game still struggles to accept a quarterback who refuses to fit into their outdated little box. Shedeur isn't squeezing into anybody's mold. He's building a brand new one. And trust, his version comes with LED lighting, custom trim, and maybe even a velvet rope outside the door. So the next time someone tries to shrink him down to his last name, his jewelry, or some slick press conference soundbite, remember this: the kid plays chess while everybody else is busy posting checkers highlights. He already knows what the defense is doing, what the critics are about to say, and he's 2 moves ahead before the ball is even snapped. Maybe, just maybe, QB1 doesn't look like what tradition told you it should. Maybe it looks like a kid in shades, grinning at the line, calling audibles like a maestro, and dismantling defenses, while critics choke on their takes. Ryan Clark didn't invent that reality. He just had the guts to say it out loud. And now that the truth's been spoken, good luck stuffing that genie back into the playbook. And if you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who still thinks Shedeur is all hype, because the receipts are right there. See you on the next one.